All right, we're ready to get started. If we can get everyone to sit down. Oh, it's too loud. It's a little jarring. Welcome, everyone, to County Council meeting tonight. We're glad that you're here to join us. We will go ahead and have an opening by Councilman Barbara Tidwell, and we want to excuse Councilman Keegan Garrity, who's not with us tonight.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to start my comments with a little, hopefully, YouTube presentation.
Yeah.
Just need the sound is all.
It looks really cool.
Okay, this is the America 250 introduction. You can go in on YouTube and look at it, but it's talking about how we're having a celebration of 250 years of the birthday of America next year, 2026. And we are starting that celebration now. It started July 4th of this year. And we have a committee formed that we are making appointments, and we're wanting the whole county to get involved in all of that. So if you could start thinking how you would like your communities to be involved, or maybe your neighborhood, or whatever you want to do to celebrate the 250th birthday, that would be great. And I'd like to finish my comments in the form of a prayer, please. Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful to be gathered here. We are indeed grateful for this country and this beautiful valley that we live. We're grateful for the freedoms that we enjoy and for those who have established this great country. We're grateful for the moisture that we have received, and if it be thy will that we would receive more. We're grateful for life itself. And we pray for that thou would be with us during this meeting, that we would be able to say and do the things that would be of most help to those whom we represent. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. If we would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Barbara. That was great. I hope that you'll all find ways to try and participate in all these celebrations for the next year as we get ready to celebrate 250 years of our country. Okay, I would accept a motion to approve the agenda, but we need to make one amendment.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I move to amend the agenda as follows. We're going to strike the following items and move them to the July 22nd meeting, and that would be 8B, the public hearing for ordinance 2025-19, as well as 9B, consideration of ordinance 2025-19. And then we're going to add under the public hearing section under 8, we will add set a public hearing for July 22nd, 2025, the 2025 COG project, 12th East, and also set a public hearing for July 22nd, 2025, 2025 COG project, Wolfpack Way. In addition to those, we're going to add under other business the council logo discussion.
Okay, I would accept a motion with those amendments.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that we approve the agenda with those amendments. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, review and approval of the minutes. Can we have that? Okay. Has anyone had a chance to review the minutes from last time?
Yeah, sorry, we're all distracted.
Sorry.
I move to approve the minutes
I'll
from the
second it.
June 24th, 2025 meeting.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of the June 24th meeting. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Report from the county executive, Karina. We're here to welcome you.
Thank you. I'm here on behalf of Executive Zook, so good evening, council members. I'd like to share a few updates on his behalf. So first of all, the Nonprofit Funding Solutions Summit was held on June 25th at the Cash Event Center and was well received by local nonprofits and had about 100 attendees. And many of them expressed appreciation for the event, and it was sponsored by Cache Valley Bank, Bragg, and Cache County. As Executive Zook attended the Governor's America 250 event on July 1st at the Capitol. I know Barbara attended as well, and he reported back to our committee with key insights and updates to help guide our county's planning efforts. And the Airport Authority Board met last week, and Nancy gave an excellent presentation on the history of the airport. And it was also reported that the recent State Aeronautics Conference and the Air Show drew thousands of attendees, and both were considered great successes. The Air Show will now be held every 2 years, alternating with the Hill Air Force Base Air Show. And Executive Zook met with the Cache Open Space Advisory Committee regarding the Elkhorn Ranch Conservation Easement, which now has received state and federal funding. It is nearing completion, and he also provided updates to the COSAC on 2 recent open space acquisitions in Sardine Canyon and in Smithfield. The county employee summer picnic party is tomorrow, July 9th at 6 p.m. at the fairgrounds. The compensation committee will meet this Friday. The Ignite the Light suicide prevention concert will be held Thursday, August 7th in conjunction with the Cache County Fair. The fair's built-in audience, particularly men in rural areas, who are among the most at-risk populations, will help expand the reach of this important initiative by putting vital resources in front of more people. The Road Advisory Committee will visit the Coldwater site on July 21st, which is an area above Paradise between Paradise and Ant Flat, where the county has secured road right-of-way and is planning road development. And council members interested in attending may reach out to Matt. The Red Cross Mark simulation event is scheduled for July 21st. And this is in partnership with Cache County Emergency Management. So it's a full-scale multi-agency resource center simulation. And this will be an opportunity to practice coordinated response efforts. Registration is due by July 12th, and it will be July 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. and contact Will Lusk for more information. And then on behalf of Executive Zook, I'm presenting Bruce Cook for appointment to the Audit Committee. And then also I'm presenting on his behalf Sally Peterson, Ernesto Lopez, and Dennis Wildman for appointment to the Cache County America 250 Committee. And this concludes the county executive's report.
Okay, thank you.
Move to approve Bruce Cook on the audit committee.
Second?
Moved and seconded that we approve Bruce Cook as a member of our audit committee. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, can I get a motion on the America 250 members' appointments?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve, I can't remember, Ernesto Lopez, Sally Peterson, and Dennis Wild to the America 250 committee. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Karina. Okay, number 6 on our agenda would be Brett Robinson. Is he
And
here?
Staff?
Or staff? Anyone here from the assessor's office?
Yeah.
Rochelle, you want
There's a
to?
bunch about to present.
Looks like we have all of you here. Brett was going to
Make some corrections.
make some corrections to our assessment roll, but I guess we'll move him down in the agenda if he comes. Oh, he's in Canada.
not coming.
He's not coming, so that will be continued and to our next meeting. So- Put you on the spot. Brett was on our agenda to make a correction to the assessment roll, but he's not here, so if no one's prepared. Okay, That'll be great. We'll continue that.
Apparently.
Okay, so the next thing on our agenda, we will welcome Mayor Brian Cox.
Thank you, and give me the opportunity, and thank you for bringing up 250. And I will reach out to the chair of the Mayor's Association, because there's multiple communities that are participating in that very same thing. So,
Great,
as
thank you.
we are, shameless plug, Hyde Park City celebration next week. So, great car show on Friday night. Wanted to bring this forward to you, the Wolfpack Way project. As you know, we completed the project from Green Canyon High School to Hyde Park. And it's a great road. We've got engineering that County, Smithfield, and Hyde Park went together on a grant to complete the engineering from Hyde Park connecting into Smithfield. So that is currently in work, and in order for us to participate in the COG application this fall, Hyde Park City had a public meeting, and hence you got a public meeting, because some of the parcels are currently in county. To give you an idea of where we're talking, the south end would be, as you look on the screen to the left, that it would be the road connection to right behind where Maverick is in Hyde Park Lane. At the roundabout, it connects there, goes up to 300 and 450, which is county 4200, and then it would continue to, on the next slide, continues. The far right of that is 4400 in the county. And the top of the screen would be, that side would be the highway. There are 4 parcels that are currently in county, one of which is being annexed, the one in blue. They petitioned to the county for annexation, and we've had our first public meeting on that, and now it's in the county's purview. The other 3 parcels, the brown, yellow, and green, are owned by 2 families, and half of that road would be in, as it's designed, would be in Cache County. We anticipate, I'm reaching out to property owners to negotiate either the property, but if they want to have access to utilities, then we would have them annex into the city. So, but to cover all the bases, I want to bring this up to the county. We have it divided in at least up to 4,400 in 2 phases. This phase, the COG eligible, it's estimated between 5.2 and 5.4 eligible grant participation, and then the first phase is about 4.3. This one's more expensive. It's got the roundabout in it, and so, and it's about 200 feet longer than the first phase. So, not sure which one we're going for first. Depends on property acquisition. So, the portion of this, there's the big thing that I want to point out to the council is on the participation. Hyde Park City has, I've been working, negotiating properties and donations and things like that. So we anticipating getting all of the match contributions for every up to 4,400. So it wouldn't be in the county.
So we need to hold a public hearing on this, correct? We need to set a public hearing? I believe that's the process.
We printed out what the requirements are from the COG. If you want to hold a public hearing, absolutely, you said the 22nd, and I'll have either Marcus or Sunrise come. I will be out of.
Okay.
I was putting in the doctor's notes.
Yeah, I think there's going to be several other ones that go through county parcels that will need to be brought to a public hearing before they go to the COG. That was my understanding, before they did COG applications. Not, no, not from you, but just different, there's going to be different ones that we'll, and I think Matt's going to talk to us about that tonight, even the process of setting some public hearings. And so we can do this one as well.
So I think I'm just a little confused what the ask is. The ask is that they're gonna come through the county, or it's gonna be different from a master plan, or,
This is following the master plan, transportation plan.
okay. So what's the ask?
The ask is right now, that is in gray is currently Hyde Park city boundary.
Uh-huh,
Blue has petitioned to the county to be annexed into Hyde Park. We have to have agreement for all of the cognizant municipalities or county to apply for the grant. The brown, yellow, and green have not petitioned, so that is why I'm bringing it up here. In order to apply for a grant, you have to have it come to the council and have that discussion. And the big thing that would matter to you is on match contribution on any of the grants, 8.4%. This phase would be about $480,000. We currently have well in excess of that in match contribution. We figure on this project up to 4,400. On the COG, I think it's a requirement of 8.4. We're striving to have 15 to 20% match. So working with property owners, and instead of purchasing the property, we end up negotiating with them with some city utilities and things like that, the connections. So we're working that portion out, but we have, I think I'm already sitting at the 8.7% for the overall project.
Okay.
and so would the portion that is under petition for annexation, even though it's currently in the county, would that be part of the county responsibility, or would that mean if it's in petition for annexation, that would be part of Hyde Park?
So it's, even if we were to get a grant this fall, those funds could not be expended until 27. It'll be in Hyde Park.
By then, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's typically it said 90-day process to annex, but depending on when we,
Yeah.
120 days, we still can start the other ones as well. I'm trying to meet with the two different property owners of those 3 parcels. And I know that one of them has said that is, he's always been saving that for development. And now development has come to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Development opportunity.
Okay, okay, thank you.
So,
Any questions?
yeah, does anyone have questions for Mayor Cox? Anybody?
I think, just my question was just the question I had about following the transportation, any master plans that we have through this area, and then that portion will be in Hyde Park at the time of the development.
So, yeah, the transportation master plan going to 4,400, following the countywide transportation and our city transportation plan. And we're doing a study right now to try and figure out the connectivity to Smithville. How does it best connect going forward from there? Smithville's got some challenges, and really, as development changes, growth changes, is it best to go in Bobcat Way that ends just north of the high school? Or is it best to go over to First East, and it goes all the way through, but it's stopping and blocked, it would change some transportation patterns and stuff. So there's a study going on right now on that portion.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, oh, and it looks like the amended agenda we have, it is set, we will set a public hearing for July 22nd on that project.
I'll get some of them
Yeah.
to them so you don't have to see my mother.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, does anyone else have any other questions before we, and if anyone has questions, when will you leave the country? Like, when could they still call you?
Depends on what the question is.
Okay. Well, all righty then.
It's 42 years of bliss, going the 20th to the 27th.
Okay. All right, thank you so much, Mayor.
If you'll excuse me, soccer game.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is Matt Phillips.
Sandy,
Oh, yes?
could you remind everyone to turn on their mics if they haven't already?
Oh, yeah, does everyone have your microphones on?
Few people come in.
No, I already talked to Wayne. Okay, all right. I will mention that.
Phone.
Okay.
They don't want to sit with it.
Matt, before you get started, I was just made aware there are some people who came in because of the public hearing that was noticed for tonight on the gravel pit in Richmond, and we did continue that. The proponent of that project has asked us to continue it for July 22nd. So we will not be having a public hearing. We will not be discussing it. If you're here for that, I apologize, and you might not want to stay for the rest of the meeting if you don't need to. So just so that you know.
So we need to, if we want to make a point on that, we need to come back on the 29th.
22nd, the 22nd, yes. Yeah, I apologize. They called us and said they weren't ready to present, and so they want us to, we are continuing that until the 22nd of July.
Thank you.
So, thank you. Okay, Matt.
Matt Phillips, Public Works Director. Madam Chair, just to try to go through this as quick, I know we have a full agenda. Just for a little bit of a recap on why I'm here. Anytime that there's a multi-jurisdictional access request from a city, whether that be a single-family home, a subdivision, a commercial business, whatever it may be, the county code requires that to come to the council for approval, and that's no longer falls within Public Works and the engineering's jurisdiction to grant that access to a county road. So what you're seeing up on the screen is that county code. As part of that code, it says, "It is the policy of Cache County that no service shall be provided to a municipal development from county roadways unless extreme circumstances provide no alternate, and annexation or acceptance of ownership of the roadway by the municipality is not possible." So normally we would have this as a resolution. Tonight it's just a discussion item to maybe get some direction from the council and just kind of at least bring you guys up to speed on this. A little bit more information about the request. The request has been made by Blaine Hamlin. He's currently at the meeting, so if there's any questions for him, you could I'm sure he's here and can answer them. The access request is for a 41 lot subdivision, and the access would be on what we call 400 East or Highway 238. This is 600 East in River Heights, and the access is for a new city street to connect into the county road. And the reason we're here tonight is Blaine has been asking to get on the council agenda for the last 6 months. And so we felt like we owed him the due diligence to at least bring it to council, maybe get some direction, and kind of try to move this forward the best we can. A little bit of where we are, the area location. This is Providence and in the pink, Logan's in the yellow, River Heights would be the one in the middle, and the proposed subdivision location is shown there in the middle. just to give you guys a reference of where this is.
Can you zoom in so we could see where the county road, where the
County
access?
road, on this one you can't. I do have another one that will zoom in. The
Okay.
county road is 400 east.
Okay.
Good job, Andrew. So this is, we could go into the history of the road. That's why we call it Highway 238. This used to be a UDOT road. And so the county, it's been a few years, the county took over jurisdiction.
Church? I'm just trying to orient myself. Is there a church right
Yes.
at the bottom of, okay.
You are correct. The next one. If we go to the next slide, it'll be zoomed in a little bit more. So there's the county road 400 east, and the proposed development is shown in blue. There is a church right there. So this, go to the next one. The next one shows kind of the proposed development. And I know Blaine has sent us an updated one. This one is a 71 lot, I believe, but they've reduced it through River Heights Planning Commission to 41 lots. And I think there's less high density development in there. But now you can see kind of where the proposed new road would tie into the county.
Seeing only one access?
If you look closely down by the church, you'll see another access.
That's church property, isn't it?
Yes.
Like at the back of the church house?
So I believe, I don't want to speak out of what I know, but I believe there has been some arrangements with the church to use that as an emergency access. I think some of this property was purchased from the church, and so as part of that purchase, they allowed the developer to have access through the church parking lot for emergency access.
On the right, that's not,
Down lower, so. to-
yeah, up on the
to-
right on the development, there's no access into that existing road in Providence?
No.
So is the property where the development is going to happen all in River Heights City?
Yes.
Okay. Will you point to the county road portion that,
Is that in front of this?
So if you go back,
Or on the left
to,
side?
like in
Yeah.
front of the church?
Yeah, in front of the
Okay,
church.
okay,
So this would just be,
got it, okay.
goes, so that county road goes north and south right there, and it's in the pink.
Okay.
So, any questions so far, kind of where we're at? So if we go back to those requirements, one of the things that's kind of postponed this is that we have never got any official response from the city of River Heights. So while the developer's trying to move forward, he's requesting this access. It's hard for the council to make a decision based on those policy guidelines that are part of the code. So at this point, we're here for discussion, and we're hoping to put this on a resolution in the near future. But at this point, Public Works nor the developer have got any official comments from River Heights.
Okay, on that River Heights you showed us, is this the only, is everything except for the road part of River Heights?
Correct, yes.
Any other county properties and unincorporated properties that,
If we,
basically
if
near
you,
that road?
if you go back to the next one, if you look, go to the first one.
This one?
Yes, if you look to the right of that, where you see Logan in the yellow, there is a couple of properties up on the hill. One of those would be
But that's not anywhere near that road.
the farm. I'm sorry, but their name slips. Zollingers, yes. So you have a couple of Zollinger pieces up along 1000 East that have not been annexed in. But in this general area, it's fully developed.
So Matt, can you help us understand what would the issues be as we make a decision as a council, whether we're going to allow access from that county road? That's what we're talking about, right?
Correct.
What would the issues be that we would need to understand or discuss? Help me understand.
Historically, there's been some type of requirements, or there's been some kind of an official response from the city that meets one of those guidelines. So if Andrew, if you go back to the slide that has the code, it says, usually the policy is that you're not going to provide that access unless there's extreme circumstances. One of those is that there's no other way to get to the development. Maybe there's a hill, there's a river, or there's something. The city can't annex it in. In this case, annexation, they've already annexed it in. It's all their land, so that's not an option. The other one would be if River Heights can accept that road instead of the county maintaining that road. If
Me, that is-
if
that's
River
number
Heights
one
would accept that
priority.
road, yes.
Okay. And you haven't heard back from them about that?
No,
Okay.
there was a meeting with them a couple of weeks ago. We've been talking to our attorneys. I know his attorney has reached out to us. And so there is in discussions about the road, what the requirements are, what kind of legality there is for the county as well as, but at this point, we haven't heard any official response from River Heights to whether they are willing to take ownership, they don't want to take ownership, if there's some other extreme. At least, we need something for you guys to base your decision on, and we haven't received that,
Okay,
so.
perfect.
Question here. I want to make sure that we're being equitable, because in the county, if somebody comes, they're going to have to do some road improvements. So what is this condition of the road of 400 East and the impact of the road if it stays in the county?
Currently, that road has curb, gutter, sidewalk, all those types of things. So it would meet all of the county standards. Usually the county standards are lower than the city standards, so there would be probably zero improvements on that road.
But also, in other places where you have developments near a county road that is also part of an annexed city,
Yeah,
we are also requiring them to basically take on the responsibility of that road
in a lot of cases, that has been.
and ownership.
Yeah.
So,
But would it be so that, like, the county owns up to here, and then there's just a little section that we didn't maintain or own, and then the next part we do own? Like, is it weird to have that
Do you
little
have a map that
pocket?
shows does it, so through River Heights, it turns at
If you
the,
go back to the first one, it
Yeah.
should show
there you go.
that one.
Yeah. Logan City took it, if you see the very north of that, they took their ownership out of that highway. So it would be negotiate, further talks with Providence if that happened at a later date, but all the portion within River Heights, we could say is theirs now.
Yeah.
And that's what you're waiting to
an
hear back from River Heights on, right?
option. At least something. At this point, we haven't heard anything from them.
So there's no
It's-
action to take today, this is just information.
Just a discussion item.
Okay,
I don't rest easy with an agreement from the church that that's emergency access.
Yeah, that's their zoning and their city.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
don't like 41 homes on one point,
That's
but.
my point.
Yeah,
If River Heights allowed
Yeah,
it,
if River Heights
especially when
allowed it.
there are access points to the east, that if
Yeah.
you were to, the design ought to be to where you access those other
Yeah.
two dead-end streets.
Yeah, and right now,
That's,
the developer Blaine is kind of in a rock and a hard spot because he's looking for the county to approve. The county needs something from River Heights, and so he's kind of been stuck in a rock and a hard spot the last 6 months.
Well, you just threw us in a rock and a hard spot.
yeah.
Did the
It's-
River Heights Planning and Zoning Commission approve it as it currently is? Yeah,
Yeah, that's an older design, it's just all single family now.
and they didn't have any qualms with not having more than one access point?
They approved the zoning for it. They won't even look at our preliminary plans until we get word from the county that we would have access to that road. And the big thing was just starting the discussion, which Matt had, that conversation he was talking about really got things going.
Okay, I understand this better
What
now.
needed to happen.
okay.
Matt, have you been in touch with River Heights
Really.
at all?
We did have a meeting with them a couple of weeks ago and just kind of laid out the situation that I'm in and, how the process works through the county. And so they have the information, they know what we're looking for. So now we're just waiting for an official response from them. And then the council could take action. So next time you see this, it'll probably be in a resolution form with some kind of response back from the city of River Heights, so.
Doesn't the church have to block off their access so many days a year so that it doesn't become absolutely public?
Yeah, it's, if they open that to use like that,
Then that's a
over
change.
over
That's a
time,
change, yes.
that is
They
public.
sold the portion to the north.
Access to it.
so who knows what-
So,
I know it's my position, this, my thinking, how I feel, is all that road through River Heights should be River Heights Road.
Yeah.
Same thing through Providence and on down.
Tell them that, would you, Matt?
I will. Thank you, appreciate it.
Matt?
Thank you, Matt. Okay, All right, we're going to move into Board of Equalization. Diana Schaefer.
I move to move as into the Board of Equalization.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Diana Schaefer, County Tax Administration Supervisor. Good evening. Now we have a little bit, the timing on this may seem a little odd to you. I kind of explained that. So what happened is we have a church down on 3rd South sold to another church. So the first church was already approved back in April when we do the bulk of these. But 59-21102 allows them to file an application within 120 days of purchase. So it comes before you now as Gospel Peace purchased that. So, and their biggest obstacle, they tried to apply last year when they were just renting, but they couldn't quite figure out the 501c3. But we vetted that. If you, pages 15 through, I believe, 18 of your packet will show the IRS to the Utah-Idaho Baptist, and then a letter recognizing their subordinate list, a letter from the Utah-Idaho to Gospel Peace, and then we also required them to bring us in that group listing, which they were on. So
They have met all the requirements.
they have met all the requirements, and they serve a 100% religious purpose for all real and personal property, so it comes with a recommendation for approval.
Okay, I would entertain a motion.
I would so move that we approve, guess we can say the church. Gospel Peace Church 252 and 27.
Correct.
For their status of tax exemption application 2025.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the Gospel Peace religious exemption. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Did we need to do something more?
Right, any opposed? I didn't hear that. I didn't mean to interrupt. And you've got the signature page right there.
Signing it right now.
And Bryson says he'll get it to me tomorrow. So thank you.
Bryson, please.
I move to leave Board of Equalization.
Second that.
Moved and seconded that we leave Board of Equalization. Those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, it's time for public hearings. We're going to start with ordinance 2025-18. Angie, do you have a map that you can show us up on the screen?
I don't, I could maybe ask
I know it's in the
Andrew to
packet,
pull up the Parsons zoning viewer.
That helps a lot. Okay, we've got it in our packets. It just
Okay.
helps the public to know what we're
Yeah.
talking about if they can see. Okay. Okay,
1169. 7. Oh, sorry, got it pulled up. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Yes, Angie Zetterquist, Interim Director, Development Services. This is a ordinance that was requesting the zoning to change on this parcel from A10 to RU5. Yeah, we might zoom in just a bit here. So this will look familiar to you. It's been here a couple times before. Initially, it was the White Bison Acres rezone request to go from A10 to Rural 2 zone. That was denied in August 2024. Unanimously recommended denial by Planning Commission and then denied by County Council. It then came back as the Willits RU5 rezone to rezone it from the A10 to the RU5 zone, which would allow for a maximum of 3 lots. That was also recommended for denial unanimously by Planning Commission and County Council. At the time, there was a question about the UDOT access approval and how many lots that would allow. So this is a UDOT road, it's not in the county jurisdiction. They did get approval for, I think it's up to 10 homes, but UDOT jurisdiction ends at the property line. So all this work that they've done on the turnaround has not been permitted by the county. And it would be a private road that they would need in order to obtain the required frontage for any future development there. However, the alignment across the street of the UDOT here is not part of the current county grid or plan. Sorry, can't do that with my left hand, I'm all over the place. So yeah, Public Works and the county grid would prefer to see a road going this way instead of a dead-end private road that lacks connectivity. So again, nothing significant or no significant changes were made from the first two rezone requests to this third. And so staff did recommend denial, which the Planning Commission, again, unanimously recommended the council deny. And that is why we are here tonight. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Angie. Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak? Now is your time. Please state your name clearly and try and keep your comments to 3 minutes if you can, please.
Well, I'm not a long speaker, so it should be fairly quick. The thing that was left off that...
Please state your name, sorry.
Oh, Bryce Darley.
Okay.
The thing that was left off is that there's over 20 feet of frontage that's guaranteed farmer access that goes along the north end of the property line, which I don't think has been brought up, but that should be a major point on the frontage, is that he's losing 22 feet of access, I think is what it is. The farmer paid, I think, $22,000 to get the access. So anyway, so leaving the road there, he gets 21 or 22 feet of frontage. The other issue is it's zoned for 10 acres, and my opinion is it should stay 10 acres. The other issue is it affects the water downstream, the farmers, because as you see, there's some wetlands there. It feeds a pond that the farmers use for irrigation. So more houses will take the water, but I think the biggest issue is the 21 feet of frontage off the main road there that he loses. And I don't think that's been brought up. Yeah, I think maybe in one hearing, it seems like it's deja vu. It's all repeating to me because I'm up here so much. But those are the major issues that the farmers are going to lose water. So anyway, that's my 2.5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak about this project? If you're even the proponent, now is your time. I know there was some confusion last time.
I try to print more, but there's that one for that half one. Just a letter that Matt Phillips wrote back when this was first coming about. Jed Willits, I'm a proponent. I really thought the last time we met in March, when I sent it through the RU5, we had a good discussion on March 11th, 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and there were some really good questions brought up about the UDOT access, and there was a meeting that Matt, Angie, and Jesse were all part of, where they said that you could do up to the 10, which we were just trying to get 5, but this letter kind of dates back to when this original easement was done with UDOT, where the county, they kind of said, well, we haven't had any knowledge at all, but this letter that Matt had wrote to the UDOT confirms that there was some knowledge that went along with this. But there was some really good discussion. Basically, Keegan Garrity asked, well, this UDOT information, what do we do if we have this information that planning and zoning didn't have? And David Zook answered in a couple minutes, and he said, well, basically, we can't just turn it back to them. You have to send it back through, again, this process. So that's what I did, not knowing that staff would recommend just denying it to planning and zoning, not even give me a shot out of the gate, really. I really wanted, when you guys came back, they couldn't really, you guys didn't have enough to go on to do a vote on March 11th. So on March 25th, it was extended to. It was done in 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Nolan Gunnell proposed to go along with everything planning and zoning to deny it, and in 2 minutes and 48 seconds it was done. There was no further discussion from the 7.5 minute meeting that really had some good discussion. A couple of the things that in the ordinance, like a couple of the reasons recommended for denial, one of the things is the nearest area in the county that is RU5 is located 1 mile away. Although in the ordinance, I've got it. If you flip through these deals, it's probably too, yeah, it's at the top of that verbiage up there. So basically it says right there, the current county land use ordinance does not specify appropriate locations for the rural 5 zone, but does contain general guidelines. So I find it interesting, one of the recommendations for denial every time has been you're too far away from the closest RU5, which obviously this isn't correct because we have to look at where the closest RU5 is. So the further you go away from 3400 south, 3200 south up right north of Maple Rise, that's kind of the magic spot. The further you go away from there, as I understand it, with the recommendation of denial because it's too far away, which just doesn't make any sense. I would just like this time for you to really hear some thoughts on some of the stuff, because this is one of the main things recommended for denial in the 4 things, and obviously it's not, you have right in your verbiage that we don't have specific appropriate locations, but then do we? I'm confused. A couple of the other things, that easement, and that's a Sean Betts. He's not a farmer, he does own some land. There's right against the Lichty property, as you go right against their property line, there is a 21-foot easement that doesn't have anything to do with this. Go down, sorry, a little bit, right, a little more. So it follows a yellow line right to the bottom, and it basically then takes the diagonal line up, goes all the way out. It follows that whole parcel up to where this parcel is. And that has nothing to do with this easement that Larson's property and this property that I have share. They have their own 21-foot easement, and it's, anyway, I'll hurry up. The parcel has no road frontage. Like I said, this letter that Matt had wrote back when Janice Starley owned this property. If you read that letter, maybe go back to that letter there, I think the hang up with Public Works is they're used to seeing this at the last of that line by the county for the proposed development. We've never reached a stage where we've been at any point of development. This is just it's kind of like the cart keeps getting put in front of the horse. I'm trying to get the rezone so we could do a development. But I think that's where the hang up is. Talking with Matt is like a lot of this stuff comes about when you go to build a house or you go to do a subdivision. That's where you get into, okay, this is the road. The person that went out and did that, put the access in, followed all those approved plans, and I'm trying to chase down some compaction tests and all that stuff. But anyway, let's see, I'll just finish up quick. Scroll through those. A couple of the, that's the variance request where it talks about the bottom, go up or down a little bit more. Right there, proposed access. The owner wants to create an access to service 2 residences and provide agriculture access to the parcels. And then right below that, the access will serve 2 lots, one of which is landlocked, having no frontage to any private or public road. The second property fronts SR 22. So it keeps coming up as recommend denial that this property has no road frontage. That's been apparent right from the start, and that's why this whole easement was done, so these parcels could both have access onto this. And then go ahead and scroll down. And I find it interesting, most of the, yeah, just keep going to some of the photos. Finish up in 30 seconds. Just keep going past this.
You're talking about.
There's some photos in here somewhere, probably make it smaller. Yeah, so a lot of people that have opposed this well, go to the one that shows the development. Not that one, it's just a sketched. Yeah, keep going down, I think it's the one down. Yeah, that one right in the middle, you blow that up. So this is what we've recommended. Pretty much lines up with Wellsville's RUC 5 lineup. It's 3 lots. It's not asking for a big ask, I don't think, for almost 19 acres of property. We just thought this is very reasonable. If you go down below where it talks about the RU5, some of the stipulations they put in, it does talk about residential developments in moderately dense patterns. So it lines up with that. And then a lot of the proponents, or the people against this, they live on 1 acre lots, 1.5 acre lots. Go ahead and scroll up, see these other pictures. Up to the photos. So some of these here, like this one right here, if you look right where the arrow is, like this property owner, this is a person that's come and opposed every time I've been in here, but right where the arrow, there's actually a dog leg that the developer put in. That's the EMS turnaround for fire trucks. There's a trampoline right there, there's in that space. So I find it interesting that some of the people that come in that oppose this are just, don't even follow the things from the subdivision when this was done. Like this is where your guys' fire truck would turn around if there was a fire in the subdivision. So, and scroll up a little bit more, up to the picture. There's one more photo. Is that the top of it? Yep. Okay, so scroll.
This one?
Yeah, so this one right here. So that yellow line on the right side, this has been, that shop went in back a few years ago. That trailer, there's a semi-trailer that sits right behind. This is another family that's come in and opposed this. That trailer sits smack in the middle over about 4 feet over this property line. So it's just frustrating to me that a house that sits on 1 acre that encroaches into this property, of course, you don't want anything to change. You might have to move a semi-trailer. But and a lot of the other things mentioned about the road's gonna be busier and people aren't gonna follow traffic rules and are all just kind of stuff, I think. But I would recommend the council just to really think about, I initially started this so my son could build a house out on one of these lots. He bought a house in Wellsville, was recommended by one of the people against my project. But anyway, I don't think this is a huge ask. I'm not quite sure why staff recommended denial even before it went to planning and zoning, because I thought we could talk about this a little bit more.
Did the second time it was presented to planning and zoning, did you give them all of this information? Was this all presented to them the second time?
Yes, I've given all the information. I've got a stack. I've given you guys a packet that last time. And I'm sure this is gonna recommend denial. If it goes, staff recommends denial, 99%, planning and zoning recommends denial, 99% you guys recommend what staff says. But I would really like to know even that, how far from the closest RU5? Is that what we have to base stuff on? Because that's one of the recommendations of denial. Or is it really we don't have a spot specified? But some of those questions I would love to have answered, and I'm sure other people would that have owned property in the county that they would like to do something with rather than just raise pigs or whatever.
Does anyone have any questions?
Any other questions?
For Mr. Willits while he's here? Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anyone else here from the public that would like to make a comment? please make sure you state your name.
Hi, my name's Mark Lyons. I'm the trampoline guy. I'm one of the people that Mr. Willits likes to throw under the bus when he discusses this property and says, these people this and these people that. And I've been to a number of these meetings, and I appreciate the fact that he actually brought some kind of documentation, because as I've listened to these meetings and the reasons for denials, I've never heard any presentation from him about resolving any of those issues, which were brought up, the wetlands and the well, the fact that initially the city of Wellsville said, yes, that parcel of property is part of our future development, but not in the way it's being developed, with that road that they built in there without any kind of approval that goes across somebody else's property, that I believe will cut off some of their options for the property that they purchased by having that road that just cuts across their property. I don't think that's ever been addressed. In one of the meetings, and I don't know if it was the planning group or you folks, somebody said, we hate to open this precedent and rezone this area right here, right now, given what the city of Wellsville has said. And the city of Wellsville said, the road that they're trying to get in there isn't the kind of road that's going to be approved. At the last meeting, I believe, I don't know which one, there was a gentleman who, I don't know if he's with UDOT, but seems to understand UDOT very well. He was asked point blank, he said, everything else considered, what is the probability that UDOT's going to approve that access straight across the street from a gravel access road? And this gentleman said, I think it would be very difficult for that to ever happen. And so my question is, rather than us take your time and a lot of other people's time coming back and going over the same stuff and the same stuff and the same, maybe we just need to get answers to some of these things. I agree with Mr. Willits that it'd be nice to get specific answers to some of these things, rather than, oh, I want to build a house and we don't want you to build a house, and I want 3 and we don't want 3. And I just think these issues that keep being brought up need to be resolved. I don't know that it's ever been addressed. The wetlands, the wells, the road, the access, the UDOT. I don't know that those things have ever been specifically addressed for this property. So I'm not in favor of it. I own the trampoline. There's a place right next to us where the fire truck can turn around that wasn't shown on the picture, incidentally.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak?
My name is Andrew Anderson. I just want to let it be known that this is the 3rd or 4th time that we've been here on this same property, and what has changed? Nothing has changed. Nothing's been changed to address, some of the safety precautions based off of the low frontage in that road in general. The only thing that's changed is it's another meeting, and eventually people are going to stop coming because it's the same thing. They're going to expect the same outcome. So I would just urge you guys just to ask that question on what has changed. Why would we change what we said last time based off of anything different? Because I'm not sure that anything has changed since last time. So
Thank you. All right, anyone else from the public, please?
Hi, I'm Jody Lichty, and I just had a couple of thoughts sitting there. And he talks about the property just north of the Darley home, and he's a realtor, Mr. Willits, and he sold them those parcels and the way it was lined out, and the people who've lived there have not enjoyed it very much. And then my understanding, but I'm not a realtor, I have no expertise, when you buy a piece of property and you expect to develop it, don't you have to look into like the water, if you're going to do wells, if you're going to sell people homes, to be an ethical realtor and making sure that these people can build homes there respectfully. One more thing is, when this whole thing came up in the first place, his son already had a home under contract. And so you guys are going to continue to hear the same stories over and over again. It's exhausting. This is the 6th time that we have been here for the same thing, that we have to take away from our families and our time to talk about the same crap over and over again, and there is no answers. And so I hope that you can get some answers. I don't recommend it be approved. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lacey Lichty. So when he says Sean Betts has nothing to do with the easement situation, if he has nothing to do it, why did he do a complaint on it in March? I was going through the files of like all of the meetings we've had, and Sean Betts wrote in saying he wasn't able to attend the meeting, unfortunately, and that Mr. Willits had moved his easement and recorded it without his permission, and the new location actually hinders his access now. And so with that going on, there's actually, he says in this that he's talking to his lawyers to talk about that. So that easement is already kind of a mess right now. And you say it has nothing to do with it, but it does. Why would he comment? Also, I have, the last couple meetings, I talked about the special needs kids and how less than 75 feet there is a stop. I actually have a picture of my sweet little boy getting off the bus. And there's a lineup about 4 or 5 cars, actually right in front of that access. And I can't tell you how many those cars will pass our red lights. I actually am on the bus. And it is so scary when speed limit is 55. Those cars don't go 55. My little boy would be killed in an instant. And then not far back is another stop. And then not far back is Wellsville Elementary. So you have all this traffic on this road. And the gravel pit, those gravel trucks coming constantly down that road. Can't even tell you how many big trucks are coming down that road daily. And the only reason there are the 1 acre lots is because he made them without following existing ordinances. That's why we're here today. The only changes that we can see from this meeting in the last, that he has spent a considerable amount of time covering his interests and making sure his problems are solved. He has not proposed any solution to the problems raised by neighbors and the landowners. Until those issues are resolved, this plan needs to be denied. He was told he could build a house for his son and that land and property. He didn't do that. Why? Because it wasn't about the one house. We started this for his son. It's no longer for his son, so why are we here? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public that would like to comment?
I'm Ashton Lichty. Just one other thing I wanted to add. If this ever did get approved, it does open a can of worms. I own property there. My uncle owns property down there. We might as well just all sell it. Get rid of the farming. Just make it, if it's all A5, we'll just make more money. Move on. Move out of this place. And that's not something we want to do. I've grown up here, want the farming to keep going. All the farmers really rely on that area too. There's a lot of farmers there that actually aren't here at this meeting because they are farming and they're want it denied also. But they're out working hard, and I just put that in mind that, you just open up a can of worms of everyone else going, why not sell ours then? Just be done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else that would like to speak? Okay, thank you.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we close public hearing. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, I need to accept a motion on C and D under 8 to set public hearings.
Move to set the public hearing for July 22nd of the 2025 COG project, 1200 East, 3100 North to 3400 North, and the COG project Wolfpack Way in Hyde Park to 4400 North.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set those 2 public hearings. Is there any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Number 9A, initial proposals for consideration of action. We have this ordinance 2025-18. Does anybody have any questions for Angie, or do you want to discuss this?
I will just say this.
Jed, you say I made a motion in 2.48 minutes. I've sat through nearly every one of your meetings, and I have understood this. So I very much back what the planning and zoning does. I very much back our staff who does research into these things. It was mentioned in the staff's report that the road would create a dead-end road. That does not follow with what Wellsville is looking for as far as connectivity for homes. I believe there's also an issue with an existing landowner as to how you're accessing your property. So I will make a motion that we follow in line with what the planning and zoning has done, and we deny the ordinance 2025-18-3 clustered home 15 acres ag rezone.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we deny ordinance 2025-18. Is there any further discussion?
I did have some questions for
Okay.
staff. If you could.
Please, yeah.
I was going to have a clarifying.
I will make that motion, suspend the rules. Thank you.
Okay.
In reviewing, Angie, thank you. In reviewing the notes that were provided for the council in the packet, towards the top, it says that there's the conclusions by staff. Each time, the parcel currently has no frontage. I'm a little confused because we get lots of information. Thank you. You seem to be very thorough. But if we don't have any frontage, is this a non-issue? Like, I'm very confused. It seems like it's a non-issue because if there's no frontage, then how can we have a proposal for homes coming off of that road without having access off of that road? If you don't mind. And again, you made the motion, but if I can please discussion.
Yeah, so it's our preference to not support rezones that would ultimately not be developable. So this would be one of those cases. Yeah, because frontage is an absolute requirement, 90 feet per lot on a public or private road. And whereas this parcel has 0 frontage on the lot itself, it doesn't make any sense to do a rezone here where he can't ultimately develop. Because again, the private road frontage that he's proposing doesn't align with the road standards, the road manual, or the master plan for the grid system. So again, that is a reason why we keep bringing that finding of fact and conclusion forward, is because, yeah, ultimately it would be very difficult to find a way to develop that if the rezone were approved. So.
Okay. I mean, there's supporting evidence we've been provided with, but I mean, this kind of, in my mind, makes it that it's a non-issue.
Yeah, we have a similar issue in Hyde Park where it was rezoned to industrial, but there's no frontage, and he's just been stalled out. So.
Okay.
And recommending annexation into Hyde Park on that one. But.
Okay. And I think I can justify coming to my conclusion so quickly in this meeting because if there's no frontage, the rest of it doesn't matter. So thank you for clarifying.
But I know staff still respects variance options that they may give us, even though it doesn't, every developer probably has something they could use, but seldom ever does it work out for safety or just partial use.
Okay, the rules were suspended and a motion was put forth and seconded that we deny ordinance 2025-18. Is there any further discussion? Okay, those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right. Ordinance 2025-21, the subdivision development moratorium.
So I'll give them a moment here. Yes, so this ordinance came about from a joint workshop with Planning Commission and County Council on June 24th, where a number of items regarding land use development and regulation were discussed. One of the issues that came up was water, both availability, quality, and impact to existing residents for new subdivisions. We've been getting a lot of, well, not a lot, but for the county, it's a lot, 3 separate 20-lot subdivision proposals, and water has been a point of discussion on each of those. So there had been some discussion about council members hearing from property owners drilling wells that they have not been able to find water. Our requirements for subdivision right now are just to have a paper water right. So they just have to have that domestic unit in hand, but doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to find water. And then even if they do, again, there could be impacts to surrounding existing residential uses. So it was put forth that we put a temporary land use regulation or moratorium in place per state law that would last for 180 days maximum on any new or amended subdivisions with more than 5 buildable lots. And that would allow staff time to do research on different on other jurisdictions on how they handle water and find best practices moving forward on our subdivision process. So that's what this ordinance is. Again, it would, per state law, could only go for 180 days, but during that time, staff would be working on proposals to update or change requirements for water on subdivisions, and then that would come before Planning Commission and County Council for action and decision.
Okay. We talked about this during our joint meeting. Does anyone want to ask any questions for Angie? I have a question, but you guys go first. Does anybody want to ask Angie questions?
We met as a water committee just last week, and we're also talking the impact of 20 septic tanks in a congested area. So not only access water, but quality and contamination of water should be a very big, important part of what we're looking at that. So, and we also discussed that in the joint meeting, so I don't know if that wasn't in there, but it should be.
Okay. And so the question I have is that, so during this 180-day moratorium, what are the specific actions? Is it Planning Commission? Is it the Water District? What is the plan to come to a better resolution in that 180 days?
Yeah, so during the workshop, there were some suggestions or examples of other jurisdictions, one being that the county required the developer to actually drill a well to confirm that there was water. Another suggestion was that we could possibly make them share wells and then create a public water system so that it's tested and monitored annually for quality and contamination issues. So those are a few of the things that would work. Because subdivision regulations come under Development Services, Title 16, I think we would be leading that and then coordinating with those other stakeholders in developing ideas and possible ordinance amendments to bring forward.
Does anybody else have questions for Angie?
I think also talking with the state water engineer, seeing what's being done in other counties to see. I mean, Water District is a good idea for some homes. You get one, and then that lessens the possibility of contamination or the situation as far as septic tanks go, and then also exploring some new ideas of septic tanks.
Okay. Those were great suggestions. Okay, I have
a question. This is kind of a legal question, so maybe I could direct it to our attorney. So all work that we as a planning commission, as well as a council, these two bodies want to do, it has to be done by the end of this moratorium, or it goes back to what was on the books before the moratorium was put in place?
So when yes, that's basically correct. So when a moratorium is in place, it puts a pause on everything, and then when the moratorium ends, yes, it reverts back to what it was previously.
Unless we had passed something.
Unless we supersede that with the new. Okay, so I'm just a little concerned because I know we're probably pretty understaffed there. It feels like we're biting off a lot with this. And I'm just saying this as a concern. I'm not saying we need to change anything, but we're biting off a lot where we know it's the department that is understaffed right now. Maybe we do this in little bits at a time so that we don't. I don't know. That's what
We could renew the moratorium if we get towards the end of the 180 days and they say we need another 60 days, right?
I'm not sure if state law allows that, Taylor.
I would have to look if moratoriums can be extended.
Did we try to do that once?
I would have to look on that. I'm not sure.
I think there's some areas that we can get some help to. I mean, state engineer, the Bear River Health Department, as far as ideas on contamination, lessening that.
Yeah.
And if we reach out to them, see what's out there, see what other counties done. I think we've got to start. I mean, we've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are currently going through an update to the general plan that's state mandated for water element. Nolan's on that steering committee. So I think could be some information from that effort that could be used towards this as well.
Plus, we have our own water conservation area for the Cache County who could be a help as well.
Great.
Okay, any other questions for Angie? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
I will make a motion and
Suspend the rules.
Suspend the rules on ordinance 2025-21, establishing a temporary land use regulation prohibiting new or amended subdivisions with more than 5 buildable lots.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we pass ordinance 2025-21. Is there any further discussion?
Just a quick comment. I did verify that it is a 6-month period is the maximum and it cannot be extended.
Okay, thank you. And that would start tonight with the passage of this tonight. Okay.
I think it says 15 days.
Oh, 15 days.
Ordinance says 15 days.
Okay.
after
So,
passing this.
all right. Okay, those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Okay, the dispatch fee assessment. You got that, Andrew?
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second, please.
That's why everyone's here.
It wasn't. Or, I don't know, because we didn't have it written.
Good evening, Council. Tonight, I'm presenting on ordinance 2025-20. This relates to the 911 dispatch service fee that was previously talked about. You guys authorized an amendment to the interlocal with Logan regarding their call center. This is essentially implementing the first step in raising the fee that was essentially agreed upon so that service levels can essentially stay the same with an increased demand. So this ordinance would be increasing the fee from $3 to $3.30. And in your version, I did get a technical update. The reference to state code in where the table would be under, I think it's 17-50, 201, 301. The reference needs to be changed. There is a part of state code that also needs to change. I double checked on that. And our attorneys thankfully helped provide that update. Anyway, beyond that, this ordinance also does ask that you guys revisit the issue so that you can again raise the fee in accordance with the agreement amendment that you guys authorized. So long story short, the fee goes from $3 to $3.30. And that's pretty much all. Do you guys have any questions?
In the fee schedule.
Yes, in the fee schedule.
And what were the changes that need to be made? Do we need to identify those specifically before we vote on this, Andrew?
I was going to say the version that you guys have under, so when there's the table part, there's Utah State Code reference. If you scroll down to Exhibit A, it shows where there's the deletion and then where there's the addition to the new reference in state code. So,
And that one is correct.
yes, that one's the correct one.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, does anyone have any questions for Andrew or any discussion that you want to make on this? Okay, I would entertain a motion for this.
Well, I'm on a roll, so ordinance 2025-20, dispatch service fee assessment amendment. I say we approve it.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we approve ordinance 2025-20. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now get to the budget opening. Brittany, are you going to, is Matt here? Wes?
Council members, we're here today on the budget amendment that was discussed or proposed on June 24th. I sent you an update on Thursday with some proposed technical changes. Do you have any questions with regards to those changes, the new copy I sent?
I had some questions, but you answered those earlier. Thank you. Okay. We've had this for 2 weeks. Does anyone have any questions that you did not get answered or any discussion that you would like to make regarding this proposed budget amendment?
I still am not clear on number 4 on that 70,000.
Oh, we do need to make an amendment for that. And Matt, thank you, Barbara. Matt did give the revised amount on that is
Yeah.
63,500. So
63.8 is the
63.8.
contracted amount.
Yes. So we'll amend that
Okay,
manually as we approve the rest of it, unless there's other things that people want to discuss or amend.
So included in this is the 4%, for the county non-elected staff, as well, no, just the 4% for the non-elected staff, correct?
Correct.
Non-sworn, non-elected.
And that
Non-sworn, non-elected.
non-sworn, non-elected. And the total on that came to,
379,148.
okay. And I received an information from Sheriff Jensen that there was some extra money in his budget that he could put towards this, so we'll deal with that at the next budget opening. For now, we'll just pass it as is, but there will be some relief to that total that we can take from the sheriff's budget and put back into the general fund to help cover some of this, about 98,000. Thank you, Sheriff.
I don't have my paper one in front of me. What is, you have it? What's the use of general fund, the bottom line on this?
It was
Is
500.
it the 535?
535.
5722?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
Does anyone have any other questions or concerns or anything you would like to discuss? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I would just like to go and note that I don't like pushing things up, but I don't like our county employees not being able to be competitive as well. So I will publicly say to the citizens, we as a council watch taxes and raises very carefully, but at the same time, I will say to our employees of the county, thank you for all you do. We hear you, and I think it's a needed thing to do.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree. I think it's important that we stay competitive so that we can provide the services that are so vital to our community.
Seriously, I'm the one that's going to do approvals tonight, so.
I move to approve budget, resolution 2025-27 budget opening.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the budget opening, the resolution 2025-27. Is there any further discussion? Okay, those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, Matt and Brittany and Wes, thank you for the work on this and for the clarifications.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay,
That'll be in the payroll, but not, it'll be a week after it's supposed to be. I had to throw that one out.
okay.
So which made?
Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Okay. 11A, Andrew, do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yes, ma'am. 1 second.
We know how to clear the house, don't we?
I do too.
I want
I want one of these.
So since this is something that has to be publicly noted and then publicly noticed and then published as whenever it's amended, this holidays, council meeting and county office holiday schedule, if it's amended, has to be amended by you guys, and then I have to republish it. So from what I understand, there is supposed to be a UAC conference in Salt Lake, I believe, during the council's scheduled meeting of September 9th.
Mm-hmm.
But from my understanding, you guys want to attend, which completely understandable. So that being said, you guys will either need to say that you don't want to attend that conference, or you would have to change the meeting date. I'd also like to note that the optional plan does mandate you guys to meet at least twice per month. So as much as I would like to see you guys can skip it, you can't. Sorry.
Well, we have a mandate, we have to meet twice a month.
At least twice. At least twice a month.
Did we set that, or our legislators?
I was going to say, that was back in the 80s.
I never
who
signed
did
up for that.
No, like, we don't have to have meetings just to have meetings. We don't have to hold a meeting just to.
You guys didn't read that along with the salary you got when you signed up.
Wait, is that a state?
Oh, no, that's within the county's optional plan.
Oh.
The Organic Act. Sure. You could if you wanted to.
That's why I said your study committee should be looking at
Yeah.
That's a detailed issue.
So are we talking September 16th and then we would meet the 16th and the 23rd?
You could meet either the 16th and the 23rd, or September 2nd and the 23rd, or any other date as you guys would like.
Let's meet twice on the 23rd.
Adjourn and then come back 5 minutes later, go get a snack.
Our lawyer said it was okay, I saw him nod.
Okay, what do you guys want to do?
We just have to think out of the box here.
Zoom in opposed to the 16th?
I'm fine with this.
Or, because I think September 2nd, isn't that the day after Labor Day?
Yes, it is. Either way, you're gonna have two meetings, one week, just with week to week.
Yeah.
So,
Whatever, who wants to rock, paper, scissors, see who wants to make that quorum? After 1 week.
either one,
It doesn't
second or
matter.
16th is fine for me.
Okay, I would entertain a motion. I think we have to make an emotion, don't we?
I know I'll be here on the
Yes.
2nd, but would not be here on the 16th, that's fine.
Oh, well, I won't be here on the 2nd. Rock, paper, scissors.
You guys duke it out and make a decision.
16th is fine.
Okay, Nolan, you make the motion.
It's your turn.
I'm going to be gone the next time, so I'm tired of making motions. I will make a motion that we accept September 16th as our noted council meeting for in September the 16th and 23rd.
I'll second it.
So moved and seconded that we adjust our council schedule to meet on the 16th of September. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
I just want it on the minutes that we should really look at having, it's mandated to have 2 meetings.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Andrew. All right. Other business. Let's do the logo discussion right now. Let's move
Okay.
that up, and then we'll talk about the parades.
Sounds good. So this has been a side project that I was assigned quite a while ago, and I've been rather busy and finally decided to unleash my inner creative self, I guess, or something. And I have come up with a logo proposal for the county council. If you guys want it, it's up to you, but give me 1 second.
I'm the one who asked Andrew to do something so that we could maybe have shirts that identify us during the parades. And I think you did a very good job, Andrew. Thank you.
That'll show.
None of these will look good on polyester.
Well, there will be no polyester involved. That's the whole point. No polyester.
So here's the main logo that I put together. So in short, I decided to do 7 stars arranged in what's called a heptagram, so to represent the 7 different council members. And so during my time here in this position, so I did move into Cache County from another part of Utah, and one of the things that I did notice about Cache County, especially when policy and representation was being discussed, was that there was always discussion of there's Logan, and then there's the north, and then there's the south, and that's a vast oversimplification. But I think it's important, to also recognize that, if that's how the county is arranged, I think that should also be reflected in how you guys assemble yourselves in the logo. So that would, I guess, that's representing the 7 peaks, 7 stars for 7 council members, and that's pretty much it. But
I just don't want Dave telling us we got to follow the North Star.
I want the North Star bigger.
I don't think so.
I knew it.
Is that yours?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
North District.
So in addition to the,
Looks to the North Star. Come on.
I was gonna say, in addition to this logo, I took the regular Cache County logo and extended it to have the Cache County Council.
Right.
Say, and also arranged it in different colors as well, but if you guys want to accept these, that's completely up to you. If you have any feedback, I'm also open to that too.
Like that.
Thank you, Andrew. I think it looks really nice, and the idea is to go to the logo shop and have them tell us the best way to put some of this on a shirt for us and see what we could arrange to get shirts for, and then everyone can figure out if they want to purchase one.
Plus, you guys get really cool letterhead if this is passed too.
Yeah,
So
we could put this on our
don't forget the
business
letterhead.
cards.
Oh yes.
They have the right email address.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think? I know, I'm going to excuse Catherine. She's got a personal thing to attend.
I like, which one do I like?
Well, I think we just accept them all, and
I
then we
like
can
them
use
all,
them in
and we can use
different
them within, yeah.
versions.
Different context, yeah.
We're not saying or stipulating it has to be a specific color.
No.
Okay.
Unless you want.
Okay, so I'm all in favor of this. I like it.
Okay. All right, thank you, Andrew. I like that a lot. Okay, we have the Logan City Pioneer Day Parade on the 24th at 9:30 a.m. And then there's also the North Logan Parade. Has everyone thought about that or decided which parade they want to be in?
So from what I can recall, though I can't immediately 100% bet anything on it, but from my understanding, it's North Logan that usually does the second parade a little bit later, right? Or is that Logan?
No, North Logan's earlier.
North
Okay,
Logan.
so then Logan changed its time because of, I believe it was the concern about heat.
Yeah, it's always so hot. So they changed theirs to 9:30 as well?
So, yep, the two are going to be happening simultaneously, so you guys will have to decide which, if any, you want to attend.
I'm going to Logan City.
Got it.
I'll do North Logan for sure. Yep, same
Yep.
reasoning for me to go to North
I'll be
Logan.
in Logan City.
Okay. Nolan, Dave.
I am working.
Awesome. Okay.
It's a holiday, Nolan.
State holiday. Some of us have to take vacation to go to these parades.
No one doesn't care about pioneers.
Yeah.
I'm only concerned about the North Stars.
Got him converted.
Go ahead and put us in for the Hyde Park Parade. I'll do that one as well, which is the 19th.
On the 19th? Okay.
Is that July 19th?
Yes.
What time?
I think it's 10, but I'm not certain, but lineup would be at 9. If it's the same as it usually has been.
Why don't everybody send Andrew a text or an email and say these are the parades I will be in, and then that way you'll have a record of, and who to contact about the parade lineups.
That would be great, please.
Okay,
By the way, the 4th of July parades, I know Lewiston's packed.
Oh, it was
It
packed.
was wonderful.
There were so many
We need
people
more
there.
candy.
I was going to say,
We ran out of candy.
I wish I could have attended, but I woke up sick, so.
Darn it.
Too
Okay,
much candy? Maybe that's where
Yeah.
we're at.
Maybe that's why we were
Say that,
out
yes. Sure.
all right, Barbara, can we start with you for council member reports?
Yeah, thank you. The governance committee met again and selected a chair and a secretary. They selected me as the chair, Bryson as the secretary, and so we'll be moving on with that. We are going to be meeting once a quarter, right, Bryson?
Yeah, next meeting, so is an
Yeah, that's,
Committee is that, Barbara? The Government Conduct Committee?
no,
The,
governance committee.
The government contract.
They're whistleblower.
got it,
Yeah,
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Then also, we had our first meeting with the America 250, and Karina and Andrew and I met, and we're putting forth names. If anybody has any suggestions on names that they would like to see, I would really like all of the county represented, north, south, Logan, whatever. So if you've got names that you would like of people to be on the committee, that would be great, because I'm open to suggestions on that. Lewiston Parade was awesome. I loved it. And I just wanted to add, it does my heart good. It's so heartwarming to go out to those communities and see their patriotism. It really goes a long way with that, and it was an awesome parade. I had a great time.
Good. Thanks, Nolan.
I agree. The Hiram Parade was packed, very, very busy. Me and Keegan couldn't get the candy open, so we ended up with having a little bit of extra candy. They really stacked that stuff in there, so you can't open it unless you have scissors. We didn't. So, as it was mentioned by Karina, there is the July 21st, which maybe Matt can tell us a little bit about it, but I would extend that invitation to the council members that we go to that ride, see that road, because that's one very important road I think could be happening down in the south. So, you got anything to add on that, Matt? What we're going to get out of it?
Yeah, anyone who wants to come, we're willing to take them. This will be going on the Coldwater property for the agreement. And I know Taylor was with us last time. It's good to see that road, see what kind of work's left, get an idea, get some eyeballs on it. It's one that, you know, we would like to progress and move forward, and it's going to take a lot of money and some grants, and just want to make sure that we are making people aware of what we have out there, and when it comes time to support funding or grants or whatever we can, that at least you guys have firsthand knowledge of what we're trying to do before we lose another road up there in the Coldwater area. So
I think for those of us who went to Powder Mountain, you would also be able to see some areas that we saw from the opposite end. So it's good.
What was the date and time again?
So
July 21st.
July 21st, we're planning on leaving in the morning, and we're hoping to be back early afternoon, but we're willing to stay as long as people want, but we'll bring a lunch and whoever has side-by-sides, but we'll go up there. The road's pretty good in some places. If Taylor remembers, the road's not so good in other places, so, but it's just a look, see the beauty up there, see where the road is, see what kind of work we have, and just become more familiar with that agreement that the county has in place.
By not so good, he means
Bumpy.
indistinguishable.
Yeah.
You come?
The 21st, I'm planning on it.
Good.
Where are we meeting?
So those details will come. We probably, depends on who's coming and who has equipment. We can either meet right at the bottom of Coldwater, which would be up in Charlieville, or if we wanted to meet here at the county or meet at the Public Works building just to carpool a little bit, we can. So we'll try to get a little, as it gets closer, we'll get a head count so we can make sure we have lunches and things like that for people.
Thank you.
I will be there, Matt.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
And with our passing of that deal on the water and other things, I think we all need to be thinking and putting some ideas in on that so that we're reaching out to, and so we're prepared by the end of 180 days.
Very
We
important.
really need to address that rather than let it slip by. That's all I have.
Okay, Mark.
So tomorrow is library board meeting. We'll be discussing the latest draft of the proposed lease, and Karina and I will be there for that. I will leave early to get to our other engagement later that evening. But the next step after that would be review with Providence City to make sure that everything's good with that draft, and if there's any comments from the board, then we would bring that to the council. So a recommendation from the library board would come this way. I was grateful for the opportunity a week ago Monday to go and spend some time at the district court voluntarily. Just witness the activities that take place. What's that?
Get your ticket paid?
No comment. But no, I just appreciate the good effort and the great work that takes place in upholding and defending everyone's right to due process and to seek justice, and the recognition that we also do it in a manner that is respectful and compassionate. I'm grateful to have experienced that day. That's it for me.
Great, Dave.
Wonderful time, celebrations, July 4th, I think throughout the whole county. sitting up on the mountain on July 4th that night when it looked like the whole valley was just exploding. Fireworks everywhere. It was amazing. But as you drove through, like Barbara said, as you drove through a lot of the celebrations in the towns, I think that we're very deep in patriotism here in this valley, and it should be noted. And I do appreciate how much there really is. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Andrew and I and Dane Murray went down to the UAC Justice Summit a couple weeks ago, right after our last meeting, and spent a day there. It was really informative and really got a lot of thoughts going about our Criminal Justice Coordinating Council and some things that we can do to help make a difference here in the Valley. I also went to district court. I was in a different courtroom than Mark. That was awesome experience. It was very informative. And I also, Monday morning, Catherine and I met with the executive and with Dirk, and we talked about quite a few things. We'll try and type up those notes and get them to you guys so you know that what things we talked about. And then today, I met for a few minutes with Jeff Gilbert and a few people in the CMPO to just explain and help me understand some of the sales tax things that many of you maybe already know, but I wasn't aware of all of it. And I asked him if he would come and give the same presentation to all of you. And he's got a slide deck I'll share with you that may just explain more so that you'll be prepared to ask questions. But it was really a good meeting. I'm glad I was able to do that. So that's my report. I would entertain a motion to move into executive session.
Move that we go into executive session for the discussion of the purchase, exchange, release of real property, including any form of water right, water shares, or to discuss a proposed development agreement, project proposal, or financial proposal related to the development of land owned by the state.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we move into executive session. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.